learn is from this book. I hope the name is there. Yeah, these are the two main books. Motwani and Raghavan's randomized algorithm, and then Mitchell Metzer and Utpal probability and computing, randomized algorithm and probabilistic analysis. These are the two main books that we are going to follow. Apart from that, I also have some other books. So from which I might teach some chapters which is better in those books. So this is how we are going to set the course. How should I start? So let me ask you some questions. Yeah. Uh, how many of you have clear idea about probability and expectations? What is probability? What is expectations and all? What do we mean by a probability of an event?
How likely is it to occur?
The likelihood of the event occurring.
And what is expectation?
If you repeat the event a lot of times, what do you expect the average value to be, or something like that?
So expectation you
Or
can,
maybe the most probable.
okay, that is the almost expectation almost the English term of English meaning of this term is probably like this, right? So expectations comes with some probability, right? If you repeat the event, what is the probability of having it most of the time? That is going to be the expectation one. So when the probability is half, that is the uniformly distributed, in that case you will get the average as your expectation. But if probability is not half, that is you have some specific probability to individual event, then you have to calculate expectation along with the probability value. Do I have to take this introductory class on this probability, expectation and these things, or you can just do a brief recap of these things and we can start whenever it is required, we'll refer to it. What do you think?
Yes, ma'am, we can do that.
Recap.
We can.
Okay. Good. So what else is needed? Yeah, you tell me what is random. What do you mean by random?
Without any bias, like you have a given set of a collection of entities or something without any bias or choosing anything at a particular time. Like, I'm not able to put it in the proper word research, but technically you don't have any bias in picking one particular thing.
Okay.
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Okay. So we are getting some points. Okay, I should write. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
So what you have told already is I told you random, you said unpredictable, predictable. Then you said no specific order, unbiased, and no order. Okay, anything else? If we say that a set of objects are random, then what does it mean?
Picking each of them is going to be equally likely, because only then you can like.
Exactly. So picking each of them is equally likely. That means equally likely means exactly that we have probability value same, right? So random means if we have a set of say objects or events or numbers, say n1, n2, say nk. These are my set of numbers, and I will say that these numbers are random if from any sequence of these numbers the next number in the sequence is not predictable. Choosing any of them is equally likely or happen if I know, suppose someone is observing these numbers n1 to nk, someone has observed some eavesdropper, what should I say, some attacker is there and he or she is picking up what you are telling to your friend, and they have got this series of numbers. Now they have to guess what is going to be nk plus 1. Randomness tells you that even if you know all these numbers n1 to nk, this number should be unpredictable. So guessing the next number in the sequence should be impossible or unpredictable. Predictable. What else is there? If so, from this actually we can, what is implied is, what if we know what are the possibility of numbers, that is we know the whole space of numbers. What do I mean by whole space of numbers is, suppose I know that each of these n I to nk, say these are decimal numbers of say 3 digits. So what are the numbers? We can start with 0 and we can end with 999, right? This is my number space. If you know somehow that your whatever the numbers are coming, those numbers are supposed to be within this range. So this is my space of numbers. Now you know that now you have this information. You have this information also, that is n1 to nk. These are the series of numbers that have already been generated. Now you have to guess what is going to be nk plus 1. In that case also, this number can be any number between 0 to 999. So it has probability of 1 by what? What will be the value? Probability
1000.
of what? 1 by 1000. Exactly. So this will be probability for every point. This is not for nk plus 1. It can be ni at any place. Probability of choosing that particular number, or the even that number is whatever number is generated, that has the probability as 1 by the total numbers in the number space. So this I am calling as number space. And in technical term, in more technical term, you will see that this is called the period of the generator. So okay, this is about random or random number. Now you tell me, what do you think? Is there anything truly random? What is your idea?
No, I know, ma'am, because
Yes, mom?
Okay, let me see. My 16 students, how many of you are there? How many raised hands are there? I want to see. Who are on the team of yes, there is anything called random? Please raise your hands. One, Udit is there, then only Udit is there.
What do you want to?
Am I not audible?
You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah, I asked that is there anything called truly random? What do you think? Whoever is on the team yes, please raise your hands. So, okay. So, all of you are saying except Udit that there is nothing called random. Nothing called truly random. Is it so?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Like
Is
it
there
depends, no, ma'am. Like if it's just a decimal means we know that it's gonna be decimal, but then it depends on how specific that we want to know, right?
no, you have to random is it is no, there is no way you can predict what is going to be the number. So decimal, if you know that it is decimal, then also you have to tell the exact number. What is going to be the exact number? Only saying decimal doesn't mean that it is going to be non-random. I am telling that exact number you can never predict. That is what is the team yes saying. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes.
it may be like we may not actually be able to calculate the specific value, but we know that it is like a definite value. It's just maybe too difficult to calculate. Like say the temperature of uh, some material at some place. So it might be really hard to maybe calculate the actual temperature at a given point of time, but it is not actually truly random.
Okay.
That's what I think. That is what I feel.
So, Udit, what is your stand?
I mean, I'd say it's random because, like, quantum physics and all, if you go, like, we always talk about probabilities of a particle being somewhere and things like that. It's like we'll never know where it is, but we know it is there. So if you decide to look at it, if you maybe plot where it's falling in a graph, say, that would be random. Okay, that might not be random, but basically, if you're talking about just about unpredictability, there's no way we can predict the future, even if we have all the information about the present. That's what I read somewhere, I guess. So that's why I think there is random.
Ma'am,
Okay.
I'm not sure about this, but I have heard like I learned it somewhere like in C++ for generating random, they're usually like based on some clocks or time. So if it is dependent on something, then it can't be random or unpredictable. So that's why I didn't like raise my hands.
Be like constraints, like what in this, there certain machine constraints, like in order to create random sequence, like it'll always be bound by that. So you won't be creating like there is some sort of chance that it won't be like you get what I'm saying now. Like it's bound by like what randomness. What I understand is like there isn't any specific factor, preceding factor that precludes what the next number or next item in the sequence is going to be. But when you put it in a physical constraint, like For example, like a random number generator, like it has some constraints it has to look forward to. So like it can't be truly random.
Okay, okay, I get all of your points. Okay, now let me tell you something. So actually, if we say random number, there are basically two groups, I might say, who thinks two diverse group. So one group thinks that there exists something called truly random, and another group is there who says that no, this is not true. Whatever is there, that is actually pseudo random. What does a pseudo mean? Pseudo means there exists some theory, some logic, some rules behind that. If you know that rule, you will be able to calculate. But if you don't know the rule, that number will appear random to you. So it will appear random because you don't know the rule. But it is generated, I'm using this word generated, by some deterministic algorithm. This is the uh, mostly computer based generators. Most applications of random number in computer algorithms or software simulations or games, everything, like if you develop a game where you have to generate some kind of visual appearance, there also you need some specific random number. Those random numbers, whenever you are playing the same session of that game, you need the same appearance to be there. But if you go to the next session, that appearance will change. So that, like, uh, even you are trying it multiple times, you should get the same settings. So that's why there is the need of this pseudo randomness, where what is the benefit of this? Here you can generate the same number. If you know the rule, you can generate the same number whenever it is required. So this is regeneratable. And truly random is what? This is what the people think, like there is something that is called truly random, like God. Like you will not be able to find what is the reason behind it. So something truly intrinsic kind of thing will be there. And although what uh, you were telling, what Udit were telling, that is quantum theory. In quantum mechanics, what we tell, I think that is related more with chaos, and chaos is actually the law behind this pseudo randomness. So truly randomness, these people of truly randomness group, they take the machine constraints, the wind flow, some properties of nature, like flow of electron inside some particular say register or something, that they will take, and from that they will try to extract some numbers. And they say that as you are not able to, as you will never know what is going on inside this system in nature, you will never know what is going to be your random number. And then they say that this is the truly randomness. And like most of you, I also belong to this pseudo random group who think that there is nothing called truly random. Whatever is there, that is actually pseudo random only, where we don't know the rule, that's why you are not able to predict it. But if we know the rule completely, if we have enough information, we will be able to predict it completely. So this truly random means they use some nature, like wind,
Ma'am, so just to clarify, has it not yet been like theoretically proven that true randomness is only abstract, or is it still a matter of debate, or
Yeah, it's still a matter of debate.
okay,
Still a matter of big debate actually. Most
okay,
people in computer science, they believe that pseudo randomness is the good thing. So they believe in chaos theory and they prefer the pseudo randomness. But there are still some people who work with these hardware-based solutions. Like they will use the current flow inside one chip, one part of the register maybe, or the flow of electron, or the time. Just some of you were saying that the clock of your computer, those things they will take as input and they will generate some number using some algorithm of this. There will be some algorithm, but then they will say that as it is based on that particular physical source, it is truly random. Because you still don't know, you don't have any idea or any correct measurement you need to measure that particular property of uh, physical source. So they said it is truly random. Okay, so there is still a big debate. So this is like that's why I asked you that which group you belong. So truly random is that field where it is based on hardware, mostly hardware sources. And if you search like truly random number generator, you will get several papers on it. Just like pseudo-random number generator is a popular field of research, this is also there. They call it TRNG. And this is called PRNG. Pseudo-random number generator. Random number generator. So we are telling about generator, means there will be some source by which you are generating the numbers. The numbers you can't get out of nowhere, right? You have to have some source from which you are getting the numbers. And they're saying that this source is actually truly random. So whatever it is generating, it itself doesn't know what is going to be the output, and so you also don't know what is going to be the output. That is the group of PRNGs. And in case of PRNG, it is defined. There is some specific rule. Based on that rule, it will give a seed. So another term I am saying that is called seed. Seed is what is the input to the algorithm. So you have in case of PRNG. So we are going. So whenever we are discussing about randomized algorithm or any algorithm where random number is used, you remember that it is always a pseudo-random number generator we are talking about. Okay. So PRNG, pseudo random number generator. So this is what we use in algorithms, simulations, and in most of the computer applications. So many computer applications. In that case, this PRNG itself, this you can think of like this itself is a box which has some algorithm inside it. It will take seed as input from the user, and depending on the seed, it will produce a sequence of numbers. So it will produce random number. Now, why it is called pseudo-random? Because if you give the same seed, you will get the same sequence of numbers. If you change the seed, you will get a different sequence. And another property of this is there are several properties that we'll discuss in more detail. Some maybe I don't know, maybe today or next class. That depends on you. So in case of this PRNG, what we have is called period. So this this is my seed. From here we are generating the next number, say n1, n2, In this way it will start, it will go on, but after some time it will return to the seed. Okay, so there is this cyclic structure. So it will follow some cyclic structure. It will start, say, from here. If you start, it will go on. After some time it will return to this point. And this length, the sequence of numbers after which you can come back to the seed, that is called the period. So what can be the flaw of it? So period is how many numbers, how many unique numbers are there which it can generate for a given seed. For a given seed, the total number of unique, I am repeating number, unique numbers generated by parents. This is my period. Now can anyone guess what can be the flaw of this?
After the period, if it generates the same set of number, it's no longer random.
Exactly, right? If we have, say, my period is only 10, so somehow if we start from this point, say from n0 is my seed, then n1, n2, and in this way after n9 I am coming back to n0. So when I know that my number from where we started that has repeated, I already know the whole the sequence. I know what is coming next. So there is no more randomness in the sequence. All unpredictability is gone. That can be the problem of smaller period. So if you are going to develop some random number generator, the most basic thing will be to have a very large period. Okay, so basic criteria will be very large period. Otherwise, all the beauty of randomness will be gone. Even if your these 10 numbers were totally independent of each other, there was no correlation. You are not able to predict them from first number to the next. But still, if you have this period are small, all the beauty will be gone because there will be no randomness left. So this is the first criteria. What else can be there? So if I say properties of good PRNG, what else is there? One is large period, then unpredictability, right? Unpredictability is related with probability of getting selected, equal probability of getting selected, right? We were saying that all the events will be equally likely. So equally likely means the numbers will be, if we just see the numbers, how they are distributed, they will be following uniform distribution, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So uniform distribution, if we take the numbers, it is going to follow this kind of distribution.
Yes.
Yeah. Then anything else? What do you think? What else would be needed?
Seed which is very hard to find so that good random numbers will be generated.
Seed will be hard to find. Seed is actually given from user. So
By uniform distribution, do you mean each number is equally likely to be selected?
yeah, number will be equally likely to select. What you probably are meaning, you people are no correlation. Correlation means if we take say n1 and n2, then if whether there is some similarity between these two numbers. If there are any similarity, we may expect that this n3 will also follow that same similarity. So maybe we will be able to predict at least some part of it. Say this n1 is 0, 0, 0, 1. N2 is say 0, 0, 1, 0. This is actually trivial example. Maybe I should take some other example. 0, 0, 1. So at least what we know is this first bit is 0. Here also first two bits are 0. So maybe we can predict that okay, this first two bits are going to be 0, or at least two zeros will be there. So these kind of things are called correlation. So in that case, there will be at least some part of your number you are able to guess, and maybe some weakness is there. In that case, you will be trying. So attacker will be trying some possibilities, and there is a good chance of getting the exact result. So to avoid this, our expectation is our generator should generate numbers having no kind of correlation. So if it is say 0, 0, 0, 1, another number can be like 1, 0, 1, 1, maybe these two numbers, they almost appear uncorrelated. So similarly, this is maybe this trivial to you. This is 1, and this one is what? 11, right? And maybe I can take this one 0, this is 10. So this is called no correlation, and this is very important to be unpredictable. So what we are trying to apply these properties, everything we are getting from our basic understanding that our numbers have to be unpredictable. So from that only we are deriving something which properties will ensure that the numbers are going to be unpredictable. No correlation is one of them. Similarly, you can think of like uniform distribution, no correlation, large period. What else is there? Another thing is, suppose like I was giving you example, I want numbers to be generated from 0 to 999. Now suppose I am generating say 1 million of these numbers, random numbers, and I am printing them, and if I print, I am seeing that some particular numbers are appearing more times. So what does it mean? That means there is some bias towards that kind of number. So if the same generator is going to be used later also, and an attacker has this graph already in his or her hand, they will be able to guess that if if they are trying with some arbitrary inputs, they at least they know which input they should try, because those numbers are getting there is some bias towards generating those numbers. So that gives us that first thing is all numbers in this range should be generated. So the PRNG should cover the whole number space.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
how is it different from uniform distribution, ma'am?
Uniform distribution means all numbers, whatever numbers are generated in the PRNG, they are uniformly distributed. Okay, so you that is not totally different. It is related with uniform distribution. If you have uniform distribution, you might get this, but there might be this, like some numbers are not at all generated. Say 0 to 999, maybe say 100. This number is not at all generated. It can happen, but still the remaining numbers can be uniformly distributed. That can happen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if that attacker has information, then they are not going to try with this number. There is no use of trying with this number. So that's why we tell that it has to follow uniform distribution. Also, it has to follow that the whole number space has to be covered. Similarly, another thing which is related to it is frequency of each number is nearly same. So if you take the fractal characteristics or the frequency map you can think of, in that case you will here also for the frequency also you are going to get an uniform kind of distribution, straight line. And these are the properties that mostly comes from this unpredictability. There are some properties for the implementation of the generator also, just like it has to be portable. The generator that you are developing, it should not be too costly or too difficult to implement, and it should be independent of seed. All these properties should be independent of seed. It is not like if you give only specific seed, that properties will be satisfied, and if you give some different seed, these properties will not be satisfied. It should not be like this. So these properties should be independent of seed. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention that was important. Yeah, it should be 7 and 8. 6 is independence. Uncorrelation or no correlation and independence, these are related terms actually. Independence means each number should be independent of any number in the sequence, as if it is generating all by own. It doesn't have any relation with whatever has come before it and whatever is coming after it. So that is called the independent property. Independence of numbers.
Ma'am, you said the same seed will generate the same sequence, right? So is
Yeah.
that a property?
Yeah, this is the property of PRNG. Like, this is the property of algorithm itself, right? If you give the same input, you will be getting the same output.
Okay.
Right? That happens for any algorithm.
Yes, yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is, but in case of PRNG, this PRNG is also an algorithm. Here you are giving, if you give same seed, you know the same sequence is going to be generated. But if you give different seeds, it should generate the numbers which are satisfying all these properties. It should not be like for one set of numbers they are uniformly distributed, but for other set of numbers they are not uniformly distributed. It should not be like that. Okay, that I am meaning by this property number 8. Another thing is these are about the quality of the implementation. So it has to be portable. It should be easy to implement. It should be independent of seed, and it should behave like it should be robust. Robust, and if you go for different kind of say machines, different implementation, but seed is same, then the same sequence should be generated. So how do I write it? Even on different systems, same seed should generate same sequence. So as if, suppose I am using Windows machine, and here I have one random number generator. I am giving a particular seed value. Say x is my seed. X can be any number. Now, if suppose you are using a Mac, and in that case you are giving the same value x, this tells me that if I am giving x and my algorithm is same, it will not depend on the implementation. Wherever you are running, it should be independent of it. So as sometimes we generate this random number generator using some hardware also, this property is important for us, that if we change the implementation, even after that also the property should be invariant. It should not change. Okay, these are the main thing. Then there is this cryptographically secure, which is very difficult to achieve. It will be very good if you can achieve. Then another important thing is time and space requirement. That is, it should be less costly in terms of not only monetary cost but also in terms of resources. That is, resource requirement is very less. Because why? We are using these random numbers for some applications. Random number is not our application. We are going to use that number for some purpose. Maybe we are going to use some OTP. Now, if the OTP generating machine is taking too much of time, what is going to be the use of it? The timer will expire, so it will be like, it will create extra headache for us. So it's like, because of this, whenever you are using some random number, the application or the algorithm that is generating that number for you, it should be very fast. It should not use more time, or it should not be much complex also. It should be very fast in terms of resource requirement. Okay, these are the main points of random number generator. So I hope it is clear to you. Is there any confusion?
Ma'am, two doubts, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, we started the conversation with the groups about pseudorandom and like random, so that's why I'm a little confused. So finally, pseudorandom is basically anything that can be generated with an algorithm.
Exactly.
That is what pseudorandom is. And
Yeah.
truly random is when you use a phenomenon to generate a random number.
Yeah. That is what they call it, truly random. It is the classical
Okay.
definition.
Okay, that is one doubt, ma'am. The other doubt is the difference between 2 and 5, ma'am. Could you make it more clear? It's still unclear.
Okay, 2 is uniform distribution. So numbers should be uniformly distributed whenever they are generated. Okay, and 5.
Ma'am, could you like name the graphs? Like you've drawn the graph for uniform distribution, right, ma'am? If you could name the axis, it will be a little more clear. Like distributed along what and what is distributed.
Okay, maybe it is time. It is the number. So if we take, okay, so what you are saying is I should tell that 2 and 5 are mostly related. Because if you are
No,
not
ma'am. I
taking,
just want to get more clear. Like
yeah.
I don't
So
like. Is there a difference? If there is a difference, what is it?
uniform distribution means the numbers will be, if you take the number and if you say, if you convert it into say normalized number, and if you plot it, it will create some kind of straight line in the axis, and you will get something like this. And if frequency of each number is nearly same, then that will also imply this uniform distribution. Here I am saying nearly same. Uniform distribution means it is going to be exactly same. Right? Now I am saying that if frequency of each number is nearly same, then what we can get is, say we can get a graph like this. So this is my frequency and this is my number. Okay. So what we can get is, say this is the general case. Maybe for some there is some stray points here and there. For some there may be some stray points here and there. So for some numbers you might get something like this. Most of the numbers are following the same frequency, whereas there might be some numbers which are having say more frequency than this. Can it happen? So obviously in that case there will not be this point. It might be this will be blank. But I am not. So instead of here there is this point. Then maybe instead of this part there is this point. Something like this might happen.
Well, doubt regarding the same, like you meant 2 is like with the uniform distribution, the graph is time versus the number. It shouldn't be probability, ma'am. Like when you mean by equal to uniform distribution, like you mean that the occurrence of each number happening will be equal. So like isn't phi supposed to be the experiment that we do based on 2, ma'am? Like let's say I have a coin flip and let's say
yeah, instead of t you can take here probability. That will be better probability. Yeah, right. So probability of each of the numbers should be equal.
so like phi is basically an experiment that simulates the distribution we have. So like if you do it over a large space, it'll normalize towards whatever we expect this one, but obviously there'll be some discrepancies, hence it's nearly same. Is that what you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah, you are right. You are right. So yeah, you can take here probability. So in that case, actually here uniform distribution is the ideal case, and 5 is little bit relaxed than this uniform distribution. But all of you are right. 2 and 5 are very much related, just like independence and no correlation. These 3 and 6, they are very much related. Okay. Similarly, this large whole number space is covered, and I guess something other than that will also be there. Okay, whole number space is covered. That is also related with this uniform distribution, frequency, independence. So all these properties there, it is not like they are not related with each other. They are totally independent. Although we want numbers to be independent of each other, but these properties are not independent. Okay, so this 2 and 5 are related. Similarly, 3 and 6 are related. Now this 1 and 4 are also somehow related. In this way, these properties are related, and all these are related with unpredictability. All these are derived from unpredictability. Okay, so in that case, frequency of each number is nearly same, means we are allowing some numbers to be like to appear a little bit more than other numbers. Say I have one number n1 which is generating say 50 times. 50 times is my ideal case. But I have another number n2 which is generating say 49 times. Another number say n3 which is generating say 52 times. This is also allowed. Okay. Suppose my average distribution should have been 50. Frequency should have been 50. If you take the uniform distribution, this should have been the curve for which the straight line, the number for which the straight line is coming, that should be 50. But here we are allowing this 5, we are allowing this, say 49, 52, 48. This range also we are allowing. So we can take a little bit of plus minus some say alpha value or say epsilon value. So say t plus minus some epsilon, where this epsilon is very small. This is the allowance we are giving for this phi. But in case of this uniform distribution, what we want is this part, not this part. Is the difference clear? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. I think all of you are tired. Should I stop? Okay, you think about it. We'll come back to it and we'll discuss what is the relation between chaos and randomness. What do we mean by chaotic? Can a random number generator be chaotic? So these things we are going to discuss next. After that, I will give you a small task. Maybe you can try already. You just look through the random number generator in your programming language that you have used. If you have used C++, then check what is the random number generator there. Similarly, if you are using Java or Python, you just check what is the random number generator used there. All of you have used some kind of random number, right? Whenever you are doing, say, randomized quicksort, you have implemented. So in that case, you have used some random number. So just check what was that random number generator. Okay, that is the home task for you. Then we will come back to it. Is it fine?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, it's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you then. I'm leaving. Thank you
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.